like to start by asking Lobsang Sangay. He is the Prime Minister of the Tibetan government in exile, the President of the Central Tibetan Administration, joining me live from Dharamshala. Mr. Sangay, good evening. How do you view the present situation? We are hearing reports of a tactical retreat by the Chinese. There have been talks at a couple of levels. Can we really trust them at this stage, and what should we be watchful about?
De-escalation is good. As we saw it in Doklam also, as long as it's backed up with real action, then you should trust them. But as we always say, trust, but you must verify. From our 60 years of experience, it's quite difficult to trust the Chinese regime. They say one thing and they do exactly the opposite. So they came in the name of peace and prosperity for Tibetan people, but ultimately, we land up losing our country, we're losing our independence, and we are in exile. So the sweet talks the Chinese regime used with the Tibetans fooled us, and that's how we lost our country. So you should trust but verify.
Absolutely. What is their long-term agenda here, their medium-term agenda? What are they looking for? Why did they, everybody's been trying to read their mind. You know them closely, you've studied them, you've battled them.
There is internal pressure within China because there's growing criticism against the Chinese leadership. And there's external pressure, the international community, the WHO included 130 countries signing up to investigate the origin of coronavirus, which obviously happened in Wuhan, the city of China. And because of all these factors, I think they are looking at diverting tactics, and hence, putting some pressure on India at the border and also with South China Sea and Taiwan and Hong Kong, where they have passed a security bill to control people in Hong Kong. Even in Tibet, the actions taken are, they reflect more paranoia, where they are being very, very strict and very, very repressive. So this year marks the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relationship between India and China. In fact, China, left Taiwan and recognized PRC 70 years ago. But on the anniversary, which should be a year of celebration, there is incursion, hence the tension. So which is, very disturbing.
Viewers, we're beginning the program today with Dr. Lobsang Sangay, who's live from Dharamshala today. For those who haven't seen him before on my program, he's the Prime Minister of the Tibetan government in exile. He's a very well-known and regarded Tibetan scholar, political leader, viewers, who became the Prime Minister in the Central Tibetan Administration, known as the Tibetan government in exile in 2011, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Sangay, you have said that Tibet should be seen as an answer to the border dispute. What do you mean by that? And could you just elaborate on that? You've said that Tibet should be seen as an answer to the border dispute and lead to further demilitarization at the border. What did you mean by that?
The whole world, including India, should learn from our experience. We lost our country 60 years ago, and we have been saying what happened to us will happen to you, to India, including all the neighboring countries. Now, the border tension from Ladakh to Arunachal to Sikkim is happening because Tibet was occupied 60 years ago. And, Chinese government had the strategy to regard Tibet as the palm, occupy the palm and go after five fingers. Ladakh, Sikkim, Nepal, Bhutan, and Arunachal. Each time there's border incursion and tension, it's the same, act they're playing, which they played in Tibet. So first they came in the name of peace and prosperity for Tibet, and we lost our country. Now, instead of celebrating 70th anniversary of diplomatic relationship, for which China should be thankful to India, so there is incursion and there's tension at the border. So you must learn from Tibet. What happened to Tibet is happening all over the world, including in India. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Among the Tibetan people, can you tell us about the spirit of nationalism? How do they view what's going on? We saw the people of Ladakh really come together this time. What about the Tibetan population in India?
Yes, we all are, born and brought up in India. So whenever there's a cricket match between Pakistan and India, we support India. So similarly, when there's a border incursion, there's a disturbance at the border, when national security of India is affected, it pains us, and it, inculcates in us to be in solidarity with the Jawans. So that's how we react. So that's how the Tibetans in India is reacting.
Well, I thank you for that, Mr. Sanghi. I thank you for that. On an aside, I wish you could have a conversation with, the Vadra Congress. You teach them a thing or two. It's about standing up with the country and for the country at times like this, but I won't get you into that. Lobsang Sanghi, it's a pleasure always to talk to you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.